Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And it is time to get things cooking on the 2025 NFL season. We are 1 week away from the start of NFL free agency. We just wrapped up the combine, and the big green notebook is filling up on this edition of Mick Shots. Plus, we welcome back Everson Walls.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
Hi, Everson Walls. How are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, I am feeling just fine. I am a blank slate.
What does that mean?
That means that whatever y'all talk
Anything
about last
we want to
week,
talk
I was
about.
not listening. Like whatever you want to talk about now, I have no idea.
Join the
My
rest.
timeline is it's a blank slate. Right?
Join the rest of the crowd who hasn't been listening ever since the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And now it's time to pursue the next Super Bowl.
This thing looks like it's swelling.
It is. The green notebook is starting to fill up. It's
got ink in it.
I start when the combine starts.
That's a continuation. That's part two. That's not part two.
No.
Part one is the original down there.
No, this is the yearly.
That's the yearly one.
Yeah, okay.
That's the whole league. This
Okay.
is draft prospects.
All right.
All right. I had to fill up this page just to get the coaches right. All these coaches with all this energy.
Well,
Okay.
see, I like that because you took your failed law experience and you applied it to
That's right.
the information here.
No, it wasn't a failed law experience.
It
I
was not.
graduated from law school in 1 month.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it.
I don't think
I didn't.
I don't think graduate.
I didn't quit law school after 1 month. I
The
graduated.
term graduate loosely, very loosely. Somehow he left, but
That's right.
We'd call it
That's right.
graduation.
So when you referred to the coaching staff, this is going to be the double E coaching staff. Energy and excitement.
All right. I like that. I like that.
All right.
And they were all in Indianapolis.
They were all in Indianapolis.
He did all the interviews there. He did interviews and everything of certain players. Is that part of the process?
That's part of the process.
That's probably the biggest part.
Yeah.
I mean, the other stuff's all recorded.
Right.
You could sit here and come back and watch it, but it's the interviews that I think are the most important thing going on. Mm-hmm. You get all those guys there. I think I read somewhere where they had 40 interviews over the week scheduled.
Well, I believe it's 45 is the number of interviews that each team can have.
You're allowed.
Formal interviews.
Okay.
So it's 45.
That's a max.
And then you have what they call the 30 visits. You can have 30 prospects that come on campus here.
Okay.
That's in addition to Dallas Day, which will be early April, where prospects who either went to high school in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or went to college in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, SMU, TCU, North Texas, they can come and actually can work out here. That's in early April.
Yeah, and I thought somebody tried to make an item out of them not talking to Ashton Genty at the combine. Mm-hmm. Well, he's right down the road.
Right.
He's eligible. He would not only be eligible for a 30-day
Right.
visit, or you can just have him here for Dallas Day too. So
Right.
So
Or he can
you
get
may not-
lost and just walk over here
how long has that process been in place?
oh, it's been a while.
for a while.
Oh, it's been.
Because
Yeah.
nobody interviewed me in the Dallas.
It wasn't that long ago, no.
They didn't realize?
And they didn't bring you to the
They
combine
blew it,
either.
damn it.
Was there when did the combine start? 87 or so? I don't
Somewhere in
know.
the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was after Everson's day.
Yeah.
Plus, formal interviews at the combine, you can also have the bump into,
Right.
oh, hey, let me introduce myself.
And the other thing is, for the players who went to the Shrine Bowl, which was right here, or the
Senior Bowl.
I mean, interviews are going on there. There's a number of players who were at the Senior Bowl who didn't get formal interviews at the Combine because they took care of their formal interviews at the Senior Bowl.
Gotcha.
Where there was
Any
unlimited.
regulations at the HBCU Bowl?
Okay. I had one. I was at they didn't call it HBCU then.
But you had an interview?
No. Well, yeah, no, I didn't.
No.
I just.
Okay, so
What about
going
now?
back?
What about now?
What about it?
Didn't they have the?
Yes, they had a showcase
New
for
Orleans?
HBCU players. Yes, they do have that, and that's something that
Does that attract
Doug Williams
NFL
and
scouts?
Shaq Harris, yeah, Doug Williams and Shaq Harris were instrumental in bringing that to New Orleans as part of their whole outreach that they've been trying to do, since they've been in the league and in a position. And yes, they do have a lot of scouts come down there for that. Some of those guys that aren't graduating, they're talking about the Tigers, Grambling Tigers. They lost a player. Number 6 was his number in the Bayou Classic. He was all over the place. I'm pretty sure he's not coming back to Grambling. He's one of those players that's going to be.
It's either the draft or the transfer portal.
Yeah, I think he's going transfer portal. This kid, man, he was. Oh my goodness. I know I heard about the stud from South Carolina, right? The guy, I think he's a strong safety. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had all that guy could compare to him. And like I say, he was number 6 in the Bayou Classic for Grambling. I don't remember his name, but I know that he was all over the place.
I believe the South Carolina safety, they played against Oklahoma, and I think he had 3 pick sixes in the first 5 minutes of that game.
No way.
It felt like that. I believe he had 1, and they had 3 interceptions the first 5 minutes of the game.
Who was playing quarterback?
Well, it was Michael Hawkins at that point, but they went back to Jackson.
Dude, what's going on with our team, man? What's happening? What is happening, man?
What team?
We don't Oklahoma. We don't talk about.
We got a quarterback now.
We share things with Oklahoma. Behind the scenes. What is going on with Oklahoma, man?
It's basketball.
Let's don't get off track.
Okay,
don't get off track. We're not getting off track. Let's talk Nick Emenwari from South Carolina.
That's the man.
6'3", 220 pounds. He ran a 4.38 with a
Wait.
At 220 pounds, he ran a 4.38.
Yeah,
which is Micah.
Yes, Spags.
I was questioning.
Yes, Spags.
Micah ran a 4.38 at 246 pounds. Nick Emenwari, a 149 10-yard split. You get under 150, and that's something else. 43 vertical.
43 vertical.
And
that's what I was looking for.
And an 11.6 broad jump.
Yes, that one also.
Which is still 6 inches short of Byron Jones's 12-foot broad jump.
Yeah, but Byron Jones was what? My height, my size, right?
6'1". What are you?
Yeah, 6'2".
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, we're about the same size. But you're talking about a guy
6'3", 220.
Man, yeah, 220.
Yeah, it's
going 11 feet.
11.6.
So he could just stand at the 20-yard line and jump straight up and knock the ball.
And plus, I'm pretty sure if it's the same guy, he's a playmaker too.
Yeah.
So he's moving up the charts here. Arrow pointed up for Nick Emenwari from South Carolina.
Trending upward, yes.
That's right.
So tomorrow we have a deadline, right?
We do.
March 4th.
By the way, there's another former South Carolina player we'll talk about on this edition of Mick Shots too.
Yes.
But tomorrow there is
who I wanted the Cowboys to draft in the first place.
That would be Debo.
Man.
But there is a deadline, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, where teams need to, if they're going to place a franchise tag on one of these free agent players, that's their deadline. And it appears that a team that we cover might be poised to do that.
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah, if they can't get Osa re-signed ahead of time to a long-term deal.
Ahead of time meaning when again? When is it?
3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Then they'll tag
done
him, which will allow them to continue negotiating for a long-term deal.
Okay.
And if I'm Osa, I'm signing that franchise tag at 301, which guarantees me no less than $25 million on a one-year deal.
How about that with defensive tackles now?
It was more than the defensive ends.
The defensive tackle franchise tag is more than the defensive end franchise tag. It's $25.1 million for defensive tackles and
22. I got it. 22 for defensive ends.
Why is that, guy?
Because of the Chris Joneses of the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's based on the top 5 salaries in the league at that position. And now there are a handful of defensive tackles in the league that are getting humongous money.
Okay.
What also has happened on it is you're designated a defensive end. We're comparing it to the edge guys.
Yes.
And the edge guys would be the ones that normally would get the larger money.
Yes.
But what's happened on that is the designation. A lot of these 3-4 teams, you're designated as an outside linebacker or a defensive end. Look at what the linebackers are now.
25-4.
See, the linebackers are 25-4.
Okay.
So typically, an inside linebacker is not going to get 25-4. You will not franchise tag an inside linebacker because they don't usually make that kind of money.
Okay.
But an outside linebacker is an edge guy. And so it's basically a terminology thing where guys that are, think of the Khalil Macks of the world, whatever, the high dollar edge guys, they're designating them as outside linebackers in a 3-4, like a TJ Watt, rather than
So how is this related to the inside guys all of a sudden getting this consideration?
Because
talking about
the defensive tackles, there's 5 defensive tackles, and I can look them up, that are getting salaries that are averaged out.
And a lot thanks to Chris Jones.
Yeah, right.
So then
And
we're just
ups the
talking about a
average.
situation that is fluid, as they call it. It's a fluid situation. It's not something that
Now Micah
continue.
Micah Parsons, he's listed on the roster as a linebacker, right? And so he would go in
The
for
5th-year option for him was 25.
the linebacker,
Right.
Okay, and so Micah, when he's rushing the passer, he's basically a defensive end, right? In a 4, because it's a 4-man front in the nickel, okay. But he's going to be designated as a linebacker when it comes to
negotiations.
a franchise tag next year or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he goes into that category. And a DeMarcus Lawrence is in the defensive end category, for instance.
Now, the other thing with Micah, since he will make $25 million this year, and if the franchise tag the next year is just $25 million, or 120% raise of your last year's contract.
Okay.
So he would get 120% of $25 million.
Okay.
And
So
it may
was
be
basically
more.
that would be $30 million.
All right.
Yeah.
Would be his tag number.
So it's either or if you're coming off a high base salary.
So it just depends on what the market bears.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And the market's going to bear more because the salary cap went up. So when the salary cap goes up, all these other things, because previously I had looked at, I'll just give you an example. New England had the most salary cap space before they increased the cap. They had, what did I have here? 100. They're up to 129.7 million in space against the cap. So they basically could do 10 things and fail on 5 of them, and they could absorb it because they've got so much cap space. Same thing with Washington, by the way, and we'll get to that. Before the cap got set, they were at 68 million available. Now they're at 83 million available because it went up.
But that just goes towards the team itself. But when you're talking about a particular position,
that goes up too because of the cap.
It does go up. But it is now you're saying the defensive tackles are going to go up even higher over the defensive ends at this point. That's what you're saying.
Because of the average of the top.
And here they are. Okay, here's your this is average per year, top 5 defensive tackles in the league. Chris Jones, his average per year is $31.75 million. Christian Wilkins is $27.5 million. Nnamdi Madubuike is $24.5. Aleem McNeil is $24.25, and Derek Brown $24 million. Quinnen Williams is also $24 million. So the average of the top 5 there figures out to $25.1 million.
That's where the fluidity comes from. Right?
Yeah.
I get it.
So
I can I'll give you just as an example. Well, on Over the Cap, they just got edge rusher. Here are the edge rushers, and that's the way I think they should do it.
Right.
They should, rather than designating defensive end versus outside line versus linebacker, they should have a category that says edge. These are, and so that way you would include the 3-4 outside backers and the 4-3 defensive end. But here you go for the edge rushers. Nick Bosa is at $34 million. Josh Hines-Allen, $28.25. Brian Burns, $28.2. T.J. Watt, $28 million. Myles Garrett, $25. If they had the designation edge, then that would be a higher number than what you're getting there with the defensive ends and the linebackers.
So then what is your opinion on why they won't
it's a negotiation between the Players Association and the owners, I would think.
Yeah, the NFLPA, and it's got to be negotiated how they set that.
Okay.
And so because then you look at the linebackers, and it's much lower. And these are inside backers. Roquan Smith is at $20 million. Fred Warner, $19. Tremaine Edmonds, $18. Matt Milano, $14.1. Patrick Quinn, $13.7.
But I saw
from the Players Association perspective, they likely want it this way because it's helping your linebackers as a whole. Because if you factor in edge guys as linebackers, outside linebackers as linebackers, it's helping the whole linebacker, and it's not hurting the defensive ends as much.
Although I did see with Fred Warner, with his restructures and signing bonuses, he would hit the San Francisco cap for $29 million this year, which is pretty rich. So they probably got to do something.
Which segues to Debo.
Yeah.
Why Debo's gone.
Well, but even if he's gone, his dead money is $31 million. So.
Well, if they would have kept him, then how much would it be? Obviously, they made a decision for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So.
The alternative must be even greater.
Here's his deal. I got this printed out. He's got an option bonus, March 21st. And if they activate the option bonus
for
Debo, he was going to be San Francisco put an option bonus in there, and they put voided years to divide it by 5. So if they activated it, he was going to be like $15 million, but he was going to another in the years that he's not there. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing Washington has got to deal with because right now he's got a $17.5 million one-year hit for 2025. And it has a lot to do with the option bonus, $15.4 million. Mm-hmm. So, yes, San Francisco, but they'll end up with a $31 million. See, this is what everybody forgets. Like, well, how did they afford this, and this? Well, they did until now.
Right.
Now they got $31 million in dead money trying to trade them for, I can't believe, just a fifth.
Well, it's because of the money involved.
Right.
And it gets, and just like people couldn't believe the Amari Cooper for a fifth.
Right. So, at some point you got to pay the piper.
Yeah.
Even though you pushed it around and it looks like you succeeded. So San Francisco pushed it around, and they ain't got that Super Bowl yet. And so, everybody says, well, what's the big deal? Well, it is a big deal eventually. You got to be careful.
And they've got a quarterback that they're having to sign right now.
Yep. They want to sign him. They said they want to make it as attractive as possible for him.
So and if you noticed when we were talking about Osa, when it got out that the Cowboys were negotiating or talking with the agent at the Combine, it was like, oh, this is impending to happen. Well, talk is cheap. It's signing on the dotted line that you got to be aware of. And by the way, until the Cowboys trigger the clauses in the contracts of Dak and probably CeeDee Lamb and maybe Terrence Steele. Right now, they have $1.39 million in available space. So they got to do that before they can do anything. But
contrast that to Washington before the Debo trade. They were at I think $80 million in cap space.
83.7, right? So they could take the 1 year charge and not have
kind of close
that money prorated over 3 or 4 years and have to keep paying for it, or they can redo his entire contract, right? And the contract starts at least $17 million.
And see, that's always the dilemma.
And you get your money up front. Because Debo asked for the trade because this was the last year of his contract. And he didn't want to play the last year of the contract.
Well, see, there's this two ways of looking at it. There's like a profit and loss statement over here that you want to keep intact. And over here you just want to win. And you say, to hell with profit and loss. We're gonna all that chaos that we created over here in the statement, forget that. We're gonna go all in and win this championship and win this Super Bowl.
The problem is, what are the percentages of you winning the whole thing? Because if you don't, then
you still got these problems.
It's
over
double
here.
jeopardy. Yeah. So, which is happening in Philadelphia a little bit right now because they've got some guys that they might not be able to afford to re-sign. Josh Sweat.
But they'll be like.
But they said we won it, so big deal.
They'll be like the guy that said, "Hey man, it was worth it."
Yeah.
Well, it's like
it's always worth it until it's not.
And see, and that's what happened with the Rams. They went for it, and
they got it.
They got it. Yep. And then the next couple of years, they paid the price for it, but they've done a really good job of restocking, and it gets back to Matthew Stafford and the decision made on Friday that Matthew Stafford is staying with
we haven't heard a number on that deal.
No, we have not. No, but it's got to be
it's going to be 50, big.
Over $50 million
you would think.
Average.
Yeah.
So,
and how many years do you want to do that for? Because what is he? Is he
37 probably?
That's what I thought I saw. 37.
He's a young 37.
Yeah, because Aaron Rodgers is 41.
No, he was in Detroit for a long time.
Yeah, that makes you old. Yeah, that makes you old.
Back then. Yeah.
All right. We got much, much, much more to get to on this edition of, we'll call it a franchise tag edition of Mick Shots.
Let me write that down for the headline.
We come back in just a moment.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Up next, waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take your steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Hey, Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle?
Visit blockchain.com/cowboys to get started.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Back to Mick Shots.
The most action-packed motorsports experience in the world returns to Arlington. Head to AT&T Stadium on Saturday, March 8th for Monster Jam. Get ready to cheer, scream, and be amazed as monster, massive trucks take over Arlington. Tickets are on sale now at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium.
When's that?
That's Saturday, March 8th.
All right.
Yeah, that's this coming.
You going?
Come on.
Well,
man.
You told us about it last week.
I know the.
Come on, man.
I thought it was this past weekend. I still got a shot at it.
Could you imagine a big old
and
truck like that up in the air, man? Come on.
Oh, we play with those monster trucks all the time when my grandkids come over.
Come on, man.
We set up a track. We don't have the dirt. We don't let
dirt
the dirt.
pile.
No, we go out in the backyard with the dirt.
That's right.
In the flower bed, we get the monster trucks out.
Past weekend was the girls' high school flag football.
That's right. Yep.
Oh, wow. Championship?
No,
they
getting their uniforms.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You got the details on that?
Yeah, I didn't get the.
Okay, I can look up the details.
The height and weights on that one.
If you want to go a different direction for just a moment,
hey,
and in the meantime, I will look up the details.
Here's the other thing
the
the Cowboys
football.
also, we talked about
Talk to me.
the guys that are unrestricted free agents. We're talking about Osa.
Mm-hmm.
They do have two guys that are restricted free agents, and neither one of them were drafted. KaVontae Turpin and Marquise Bell. And they've got to tender those guys. And
how's he doing, Marquise Bell? And, as far as rehab and the injuries are concerned.
Did he get hurt at the end?
Yeah, he got hurt.
I'm trying to remember.
He was out for the season, out for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Mickey. Come on. You can do it. You can do it.
Boy, how quickly we forget, boy, I tell you.
No, I saw him.
The guy's he was on everyone's lips for quite some time. Now all of a sudden, we got nothing. We got nothing on Marquise Bell. You forgot that the man was even out for the rest of the season.
Nate in Frisco is upset with Mickey right now. A FAMU guy.
Come on, man.
Marquise Bell.
I was trying to see when he got hurt. So he ended up playing in 9 games.
I was going to say.
So I think it was the 9th game he got hurt.
I would imagine. Real good, Bill. Although he was inactive one game.
Okay, it was the 10th game then.
You never know. But you got to decide, and what do you do with KaVontae Turpin?
Well, here's the other thing with Marquise Bell. Okay, he was playing middle linebacker for Dan Quinn.
That's right.
And then he doesn't get on the field on the defense under Mike Zimmer. So how's Matt Eberflus feel about him?
And we probably haven't asked that question, right? So,
and it was a dislocated shoulder that he suffered.
Okay.
And needed surgery to repair his shoulder.
And I don't know when they work out, but I haven't seen him out there. Dak was out there again.
Always.
And I'm assuming that was Sam Williams maybe with them.
Okay.
Who seems to be moving along just fine.
What would motivate you more, if you made what Dak makes to get out on the practice field, or if you didn't have a contract?
Yeah, well, probably if I didn't have a contract, because Dak's got guaranteed money, right?
So it says a lot about him that he gets out there, and even though he's got it made as far as life goes.
He's been out there since, golly, he's been out there every day, seems like.
Since he threw the crutches away.
Yeah.
I think either way that I would be out there. If I would made the kind of money Dak made, or the other way around.
So let me go
There's
back
a certain responsibility that comes with making that kind of money.
Would you tender KaVontae Turpin as a first-round draft compensation or second round? Or
tell us what those monies are.
So a first-round tender, is $7.4 million.
Okay, Everson, listen up here.
I'm listening.
$7.4 million.
The second round compensation is $5.3, and if you want to take a chance on your original draft round, which he did not have because he was not drafted, $3.2 million.
And tell us.
And you get no round compensation for that.
So basically, if he had a tender of whatever that money was that for the entry level,
was it 3 point?
The entry level number was what? Being undrafted.
Entry. Oh, the compensation.
Yeah, compensation.
You would tender at 3.2.
So another team could sign him and not give up any draft picks because he wasn't drafted.
And you're only.
But at the $7 million figure, the other team, if they signed him, they would have to give up a first-round draft pick to the Cowboys. And the second round is the $5 million, whatever. So I would think that they would go in the $5 million.
Second round, right?
Second round.
Yeah. And
I don't know that it would be necessary to tender him at the first round because I'm not sure. I don't believe another team would give up a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Especially coming off injury.
But they might give up a second-round pick.
Like those teams that have all that
You're talking
money.
about KaVontae here.
Oh, KaVontae. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Those teams that have all the money, that
okay, so
that
think of it.
tender
Okay,
doesn't
so
count.
then think of it, Everson. You're another team.
Yeah.
KaVontae Turpin is available on a 1 year, $7.5 million, whatever it is, but you have to give up a first-round draft pick. Would you do it?
I would.
See, to me, it's not about the money; it's about the draft pick.
Right.
I got $80 million in cap space.
And you can match. The Cowboys can match.
Right. I think a second.
So it won't cost you $80 million for KaVontae Turpin.
No, I'm not saying cost $80 million.
Yeah,
I have $80 million available.
I know. I'm just
But it cost me a first-round pick.
Yeah.
That's valuable.
It is valuable. But man, he's valuable.
Yes.
Especially to this team.
That's why I would not
there were
do.
certain games where he was the only offense we had.
Yeah, forget the special teams aspect of it.
Right.
What does he bring
I'm talking
to
about
the
field
offense?
position that he brings to us.
Well, but even, all right, how is this new coaching staff going, offensive coaching staff, plan to utilize him? I mean,
probably in the best way possible, and that is to rely.
Get the darn ball in his hands.
Yes.
Right.
To rely on him.
Right.
As a playmaker. And like you said, I'm just thinking special teams, but not even to mention how we could use him in special packages and things on offense.
He had, in his limited availability as a wide receiver, he had 31 catches and 2 touchdowns. He ran, I want to say he ran one in. No, I take that back. He didn't.
what about doing a deal with him?
Or you would like to. I've seen the Cowboys say.
Do you think there's negotiations going on right now for KaVontae Turpin?
I would think so.
I mean, here's
we'll
the
give
interesting
you a
thing
2-year
about
deal, and you'll make, say you double the $5 million. You're going to make $11 million.
And if it looks like you're making $5 million this year,
right?
Okay, and next year you're going to be 30 years old.
Yeah.
He turns 29 August 2nd.
And the key thing for him is, and they've done this before, is they pay you a signing bonus. So you get some money up front. I would like the money up front.
On second thought, no. I would not give up a first round. I would not give a first round pick for him. But damn, I would want to keep him.
Yeah, because you just have him for 1 year.
Yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't do that.
Or you give him a tender, and then I think you can renegotiate that thing too.
He is a unique talent, and I mean that in every possible positive way possible. Everything that we've asked him to do, he's done it, and he's taken it to the next level. For him to be so integral in our plans as far as field position, he was a threat every time he touched the ball just on kickoff returns. And that's something that we hadn't had around here in a long time.
And even if he didn't return it for a touchdown, the average it was the NFL high.
Yeah.
So
he's unique. He's very unique in a Definitely a good way.
Nick Sorensen needs to walk into the room and say, I want this guy.
Yeah.
Makes my job easier.
What we may need to explain for those of you who are not paying attention, Nick Sorensen is the special teams coordinator for the Cowboys.
That's right. Former defensive coordinator, too.
Mm-hmm.
So as a defensive coordinator, he understands what KaVontae Turpin brings to an offense, right?
Field position.
Yeah.
All right, I'm now searching for that flag football stuff.
Get out of here. We got so much to talk about.
We do. And so have we decided what we're doing with Osa? What Osa's basically looking at. Oh, let's look at those defensive tackle numbers again. What were they? They were in the range of 25. I mean, that's basically what you're looking at. Mm-hmm. So he would probably, on a long-term deal, he's probably looking in the neighborhood of 4 years, $90 million plus.
Yeah. And you're going to get money up front. Because if you just play for the franchise tag while it's guaranteed, you get it over 18 weeks. But if you sign a long-term deal, you get a signing bonus.
Yeah, man.
I could put about $30 million. I'm not an accountant in the bank somewhere for as little as 5%. That's a lot.
Yeah. You sound like Gene Stallings trying to get me to sign the Cowboys contract that was a bunch of crap.
Which, by the way, Bill Jones pointed out last night.
The Cowboys, back in the day, the Cowboys would put pressure on you from every angle.
I'm glad you mentioned Gene Stallings.
Talk to me about Gene Stallings.
It's very timely.
Very, very timely. In fact, had George Teague on our show last night to talk about Coach Gene Stallings.
That's his boy.
He turned 90 years old yesterday. So we paid tribute to Gene Stallings, and he's living in Paris. And,
still?
Yep, still living in Paris, 90 years old. Yep. Paris, Texas.
Still has
his ranch up there. Yep.
So
his
when
wife.
we
still can't hear worth a damn.
When we went up there, it was 2017, and we did a Legends documentary show on him. So how many years? That 8 years ago? He was still riding his horse, still riding the horse to inspect the fences on his ranch. And I said, so when you find one that needs repair, who do you call? He goes, call, I fix it. I was like, well, you're 82, 83 years old. He goes, that's right. He goes, I'm not paying somebody to do that. I can do it.
You know, University of Alabama, a couple of professors at Alabama put together a great documentary on Gene Stallings, and it highlighted him and, of course, his son, John Mark. And it was great. George actually invited me to do a screening of it in McKinney about a month or so ago, and it is really, really well done. It needs to be widely released, and not only from the standpoint of Coach Stallings. It's called Do Right, the Stallings Standard, but also from the perspective of John Mark, who passed away at age 46 in 2008. And
he lived about 25 years longer than they thought he would.
Probably 30, yeah.
Because he was actually not only born with Down syndrome, but also had a congenital heart defect, which was his cause of death at age 46. But what I didn't realize back then, when he was born, early 1960s, usually when a child was born with Down syndrome, they just put him in a home, you know, and the Stallings said, no, he's not going in a home. We're raising him. And
you ain't touching my baby.
That's
you
exactly
ain't touching
right.
my baby.
And I get goosebumps just talking about it. Think about the impact that Johnny had. And through Coach.
Thank God for Johnny.
Right.
Because Coach Stallings would have been a handful.
Right.
If he didn't have someone like John Mark
softening
him up just a little bit. Oh my God!
Keep in mind, Coach Stallings was one of the Junction boys and Bear Bryant at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And then he became, after John Mark was born, he became the head coach at Texas A&M in the mid '60s. And then became the Cowboys secondary coach starting in 1972 through '85 during your first years of your career here. Then the Cardinals head coach, and then goes to Alabama and wins a national championship. And George
looking just like Bear Bryant.
That's right.
Like Bear Bryant. Sounded just like him on the sideline.
That's right. Like he inherited his voice.
Yeah, that was some weird stuff for that whole process to go to him coaching back at Alabama.
Well, he was really gracious, and so was his wife,
Ruth Ann.
Right,
Come on, man, I'm here. Okay. I'm right here.
I didn't want to say it if I was wrong.
Family. I've been around these people every day. I hear about John Mark and Ruth Ann. Come on.
And the thing that George was talking about last night was John Mark. He was like the biggest ambassador for Alabama football, and he would give tours. That was his job.
Really?
On the
people come to see him.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. He would give tours.
That's post Cowboy.
Post Cowboy. In the early '90s, whatever. Yeah.
Because when he would come to the locker room and he would come to our meetings, man, that was our dude. The DBs, he knew every one of us. He knew every one of us. He's a good little kid. Little kid.
Well, our documentary's been released, and you can still find it if you Google it. It'll come up 2017. And when he talked about John Mark during the interview, so he died, when did you say 2008?
2008.
He got emotional.
Come on,
just
man.
Talking
He's always
about
he's emotional talking about John Mark when he was alive, and he was so proud of him.
Yeah.
Tears would come to his eyes when, John Mark was just hanging out with us. And I think he enjoyed how John Mark developed as a person, because he was hanging around all kinds of guys in the locker room.
Right, yeah.
And, Gene Stallings wasn't accustomed to diversity back in the day with the Junction Boys and all of that. So thank God for John Mark, because man, if you didn't learn from John Mark, you're gonna learn the hard way from Mel Renfro, from Herb Adderley, and those guys that you were coaching back then, because those are some tough guys that you had to deal with. And John Mark kind of brought a little diversity to the program.
I remember the first time I tried to do an interview, or I didn't. I asked him a question, and we were out at the ranch, kind of in the middle of the hallway. And he didn't understand my question, but boy, did he jump on my ass. He just started chewing me out. And finally somebody standing.
And he works his neck.
Right, and then somebody standing there and goes, no, Gene, this is what he was asking. Oh, okay. Boy, he got all over me.
Boy, when he got into a rage, oh my God, he'd work that neck and he'd get around like a rooster. He would get so upset. Hell, man, I can't say the words that he would say, but boy, we went through it.
All right, I'm going to give you the details on the Flag Football League when we come back.
Thank you.
He got it.
In just a moment.
He got it.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pregame sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pregame sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com
to book your travel package today.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
Cowboys Nation, Dallas Cowboys United, presented by Globe Life, is now exclusively in the Dallas Cowboys app. Join the official fan club today to receive access to the all-new Dallas Cowboys Drop feature, team news and pre-sale access, and fan and kid of the game. Download the app now to join. Dallas Cowboys United. That's a big-time fan club.
Okay, to open Women's History Month on Saturday, the Cowboys announced the formation of regional high school girls flag football leagues across the state of Texas, which will begin competitive play this spring. This month they start. Cowboys co-owner and chief brand officer Charlotte Jones was joined by quarterback Dak Prescott and Stephanie Kwok, NFL vice president of flag football at AT&T Stadium for the kickoff press announcement. The group shared information about the benefits of playing flag football. Getting to the details here, 32 of the 54 DFW area high school girls flag football programs attended a jersey reveal and media day. You know that there are 54 area high school girls flag football programs already?
Yeah.
Did Danny McCray pay you for this announcement? You know, that's his baby.
I didn't know there was money involved here. Yes, I know.
Yeah. You're gonna go
now
back.
I'll read the whole. I'll read the whole thing if there's money involved. Over the last 9 months, the Cowboys have worked with school districts and partners across the state to form a varsity-level 7-on-7 programs, and they will start playing competitively this spring.
So then we're talking eventually scholarships in the future?
Well, and they're actually, I think flag football is going to be in the Olympics in 28.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
I think I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Play flag football.
Play flag football with the girls.
You know what? I do think.
on the girls' team.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, regional leagues will play throughout the months of March, April, and May at the Star and on school campuses. Championship tournament held at Ford Center in Frisco in May.
That's
so
good.
I'll go.
You know what I think is going to happen in Texas? The UIL they're going to approve girls flag football, and it's going to become very popular.
Oh, I bet.
You know, it's going to take away from
If the schools can afford to finance
That's
it.
true. Yeah. That's the other thing.
Can't finance elementary schools. But don't get me started.
Yeah, you're talking.
Don't get me started either. My wife works at an elementary school. Yes.
So
God bless her.
Big Green Notebook.
Yes.
Running backs.
Yeah.
So I think
very good.
at some point the Cowboys are going to draft a running back.
Yep.
All the talk is always Ashton Genty. Mm-hmm. But there's other running backs in this draft.
And it's
correct?
a very good class for running backs.
Interesting.
Very.
So
you don't really get that much as far as running back classes. It's here recently.
If you don't take him at number 12, I saw one rating did their top like 50 players or whatever, and there was running backs number 3, Genty.
This is overall number 3 player. Okay.
Available 19, Omarion Hamptons, North Carolina.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Number 47, Caleb Johnson, Iowa.
Him. I love
Number 35.
Wait, Caleb Johnson from where?
Iowa.
Okay.
35 was Travion Henderson.
Ohio State.
And 37, Quinshon Judkins.
Mm-hmm. Ohio State.
I heard his interview. Mm-hmm. I was like,
also Ohio State.
Yeah, 2 of they.
Okay.
And one of them transferred there, and the other guy stayed. And I heard his interview, and
they won the national championship.
Oh, I think they did.
I said, I want that guy on my team, and I don't know where I have to. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember watching him. You got 40 times on him, by the way?
I don't know. Did he run? Let me see.
Yeah, I didn't know either if any of those guys. I imagine Scatterboo did.
But Scatterboo's not that fast.
No.
Necessarily. He's just a, what do you call it, a Swiss Army knife type of guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Genty did not run. Among the ones that I have, Ollie Gordon, Oklahoma State, is another one who out of Euless Trinity, 6'1", 226 pounds. Now, he ran a 4.61.
He's huge.
Yeah. Caleb Johnson, who is another guy that very, very impressive in his interview. He ran for 1,537 yards, Iowa. He's the Iowa guy.
That's your guy, okay.
And reportedly, he had formal interviews with Dallas, Houston, Pittsburgh, the Giants, Vegas, Baltimore, Indy, and Denver. Only 21 years old, averaged 6.4 yards a carry, 21 touchdowns for Iowa this year.
This year?
Yes, this year. He ran a 4.57, but he's a bigger back, 224 pounds, ran a 4.57. So it's not blazing at all, but I really like it. He's got that patience and vision, and I've got written down stud. Great interview, intelligent, so smooth, fast. Todd Blackledge, who does Big Ten games, said he's a total package: speed, power, patience, vision, toughness.
Wow.
So is he
and maybe second round.
That's what I was going to say, high second?
Yeah, so maybe the second round pick would be Caleb Johnson. You were asking about
Judkins.
See, we're in the early stages here.
Okay.
So having a hard time coming up. And the Ohio State guys were late additions because they played so late into the season.
Well, the other thing is, and they don't have a lot of tread wear because they shared the position. So it's not like you ran the guy in the ground his final year.
All right, Producer Supreme. I mentioned Ollie Gordon a moment ago. Producer Supreme has some video of Ollie Gordon.
Really?
Producer Supreme.
Well,
there
look
you go.
there.
Take a look at Ollie Gordon out of Oklahoma State.
So he had a slow start to the season?
It was the year before where Oklahoma State had a bad team this year. But his big year was the year before.
Wasn't he like top running back or whatever? Did he win some award?
Going back, right, Doak Walker Award winner last year. Not in 2023. He was the Doak Walker Award winner.
Was he?
Yeah.
Now, when he was in high school at Euless Trinity, he played quarterback quite a bit, and mainly because they wanted him the ball in his hands as often as possible. But he's got everything you're looking for as far as the running back instincts. And then now he's growing. He obviously in high school he was probably 30 pounds lighter than that, and but he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can do all that stuff. I think he's going to have a very successful NFL career.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You like that stuff?
This guy is.
So I guess the point was,
it's funny. Just a second, Mickey. That year that he won the Doak Walker, it took a month into the season before Mike Gundy actually started using him.
Really?
And he still ran for 1,700 yards or whatever it was.
Wow. So the point when asking, if you don't use a 12th, if he's even there at number 12, there's other running backs over those first two rounds or that are pretty productive.
Well,
if you can do that,
if it's that close to where you've got a Genty, you've got a guy like this, you've got some of the guys available. I'm going to look at their injury history and see what happens from there.
Right.
And because I don't want to bring anybody in that's a habitual guy, that's always getting hurt all the time.
And
so that, to me, that would be one of the criteria when you're talking about guys who are so evenly matched in talent.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, Ollie Gordon in 2023 carried the ball 285 times for 1,732 yards and 21 touchdowns.
I like that, Ollie.
And he had 39 catches for another 330 yards. And he can catch the ball out of the backfield.
I like the 21 touchdowns.
Yes. And, okay, so Genty, are you going to
I like his size. I really do. I mean, that's the thing about it.
Here we go.
That's Genty.
Ashton Genty, Frisco Lone Star High School in Boise State, who, of course, had, 2,600 yards rushing this year.
Man,
and coming out of high school, he moved here from Europe in high school.
Italy.
Yeah, well, it's Europe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I want to get more specific.
And he was actually in Frisco Lone Stars produced a lot of NFL players, and so he was actually used at receiver first in high school, and then his senior year was used at running back. I'll say this. I texted a college coach and said, "You have got to check out this running back at Lone Star." He texted back, said, "Our running back room's full."
No.
This is at OU?
No.
Okay.
Could have been Fuller.
Yep. But
Impressive.
right. And just physically, you can tell how much work how much time he spends.
What's his 40 time?
He didn't run.
He
didn't.
He'll do it at his pro.
We don't have any idea.
Oh,
And he's 5'8.5", 200. So he's a shorter guy. 5'8.5", 211 pounds.
I just worry about size in the NFL. I really do, because we have.
Now he's put together.
Yeah, I know. But we've seen a lot of guys come through here. Not a lot. We've seen a couple of guys come through here who are a little diminutive in size, and it can work against you sometimes. I like the big guys that can make their own way when there's no blocking.
Yeah. How about actually even being able to see?
That vision.
You don't talk about it as much at running back as you do at quarterback,
That's
obviously.
so this guy's got pretty good size. The kid from Louisville, Damian Martinez.
I love Damian Martinez, and he's
played at Miami.
Yeah,
and he's got some size.
He actually he started his career at Oregon State. And, okay, we got Damian Martinez, number 6 here.
Excellent.
This is at the U, but at Oregon State, he goes there as a true freshman and started immediately and was highly productive immediately at Oregon State. Was there for 2 years. They had a coaching change, and then he transferred to Miami. And
he's kind of fast.
Those guys had the angle on him, didn't they?
Yeah, he's kind of fast.
Which we're watching here, by the way, if you're just listening.
And
Damian,
he's got
size.
Yes. Big kid, great kid. And, he – talking to his high school coach at Louisville, he said that he, from a character standpoint, he impacted that community as much as anything.
Really?
Yeah, right.
That's what you like to hear.
Yeah. And a leader. I was and he was one of our finalists for the Landry Award, as was Genty when they came out of high school. And just love those guys. Martinez is 6 foot, 217 pounds. He was listed at 232 pounds, so he got down to 217 for the combine and ran a 4.51 with a 35 vertical and 10.4 broad jump.
That's good numbers.
Yeah,
that's good numbers.
Yeah.
And when you hear 4.51, it's almost like Emmett. I'm sure Emmett's 40-yard dash wasn't more than 4.5, but we never seen him or saw him get caught from behind, right? His play speed was faster.
Well, I think with Emmett, just to correct, I think Emmett's vision was
it was unbelievable, right?
I mean, he had the luxury of an offensive line, but still, to be able to know what holes to hit and know how to take it to the house as slow as he was.
When I hear people tell me that, I go, okay, so did he have a great offensive line in high school? Because he was awfully productive. Did he have a great offensive line at Florida? Because he was awfully so.
I remember Florida, he never had a jersey on. Because they kept ripping it off. Every time he's running, he was always jerseys ripped off. He looked like he was running in mud. He looked like it was humid out there. So you knew Emmett was going to be okay.
I like this, being able to pull out the video.
This is great.
We're going to dig into
Way
the
to go,
green
Chris.
notebook and have videos for the next, nearly 2 months before the draft.
I could save the 40 times. Then we almost out of time. Of the wide receivers from Texas. Matthew Golden, 4.29.
Ran a 4.29. Well, that's nothing.
And what's the
Xavier Worthy ran a 4.21 last year.
And who's the record? Who has the record?
He does.
He does.
He said it last year. Worthy said it last year.
Now, you had 2 wide receivers from Texas.
Bond.
How did he
Isaiah Bond said he's going to break Xavier Worthy's record. He ran a 4.39.
4.39.
He was pushing.
He was trying too
He was
hard.
struggling too hard.
So slow. 4.39.
Such a disappointment. You know, it's funny. You look at the guys who are in the 40s, and the fast guys, it's so brief.
Mm-hmm.
But the guys like myself and the big guys, it takes a while. You know what I mean? You can just tell the difference.
You know what?
You're slower because you wanted more TV time.
Right. Is that
without a stopwatch.
more facial expressions.
Without a stopwatch, if you watch those 40s, you can almost predict, like, if it's 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, you can see.
All right, tell me, we're out of time.
Yeah.
But the Missouri right tackle, Armand
Membo.
Membu. Okay.
He can play inside. He can play outside.
You like him?
Yes.
As a first-round pick?
Yes.
Okay.
I think he's a top 20.
He's a guard.
He's a tackle.
Played tackle at Missouri, but can play inside or out.
And he got a little bit irritated that I guess the knock on him was he wasn't tall enough. You want your tackles to be 6'4", and he goes, "It's not like I'm 6'1". I'm 6'3 and a half".
Right.
So yeah, he
is. Well, they got him listed at 6'4" at the combine, so he was on his tiptoes or something.
You got to stretch
Oh,
the neck.
okay.
You got to stand up.
All right, listen to this. All right, and he's young. He's 20 years old.
I think
he turns 21 March 27th.
I think he could have come back and played.
Well, yeah, he could have come back for a couple of years.
Probably had a COVID.
I got bright, great smile.
Okay.
You want your offensive
That's
lineman
why I took his phone so long in the 40.
6'4", okay, at 6'4", 332 pounds, 33.5-inch arms, and that's okay as far as playing tackle. Right. He ran a 4.91 at 332 pounds with a 34 vertical and a 9.7 broad jump.
So they're listing him as a tackle.
That was my vertical. Golly.
There you go.
Somebody asked him, "Could you play guard?" He goes, "Whatever they want." Mm-hmm. Good answer.
It's and that's another one. The arrow pointed up for Armand Membu, 20 years old, out of Missouri.
That's what you get out of Missouri.
Okay.
Smart
By the way,
players.
Tyler Smith, about the same age Tyler Smith was when he was coming out. Tyler Smith turned 21 on April 3rd of his rookie year.
Who was a tackle.
And yep, there you go.
Which I go back to my drafting guards, right? Give me a tackle who can play guard.
You got Membu in the first round.
Well, he's pretty darn good.
Okay. All right. We settled that. We'll move on to the 2026 draft on the next edition of Mick Shots. And our time's going to be fluid next week. And it's a huge week. We're going to make it fluid because we got free agency starting on Monday, and the new year starts at 3 o'clock on Wednesday next week, and it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that Mickey won't be back until a certain time. But, stay tuned. We'll let you know when we'll be on next week.
I'll be ready.
And in the meantime, make it a great week, everybody.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!